in this live session today. I, Vanshika Saraswat, on behalf of entire WILP campus recruitment team, welcome you all, and I want to personally congratulate you for successfully registering the WILP program. And this session is designed just to have an interaction with you, number one, and make you prepare for the upcoming assessment, which is likely to happen in the end of October this month. So the entire session has been curated to help you understand about how the online assessment will actually look like. So before we move ahead, I have with me Radhika. She is our national head for entire WILP charter. So I would like to hand it over to Radhika to set the context of this call.
Thank you, Vanshika. Thanks for giving that introduction. So, very good evening, all of you. So, from WIPRO's WLP team, we are so happy with the response that we've got for this year, FY23 hiring. Thank you so much for showing interest on this specific WIPRO WLP program. So, today's session, I know most of you have registered, but you will be having doubts in terms of what will be the assessment all about, and will I be able to clear, and negative marks is there, or what are the sections. So we heard you. We understand that from your standpoint, you'll be having too many queries. So we thought it is very critical for us to address all these queries at this stage, because your assessment will happen shortly. Maybe in another 2 weeks, you will be in your assessment stage. So we want to address all of you, clear off the queries that you have with respect to this specific WIPRO online assessment. On that note, we would again want to congratulate you for taking the first step, and with respect to whatever stages in which you will be put across, it is going to be only 2 steps. It is very simple. So first step is your online assessment, which you will be taking up very shortly, and second step is your interview process. That second is very simple. So what are going to be in the sections is something which we will eventually get to hear. But one thing that we want to clarify from our end is, throughout the process, we are not going to test you in terms of any technology. So it is going to be a very generic assessment. It is going to be only checking on your aptitude skills, checking on the verbal skills that you have, checking on the logical reasoning skills that you have, right? So we are not going to test you in any of the technology. So be rest assured that this complete assessment is going to be only checking on your general ability. So on that note, all the best for all your preparations. I know you guys would have already started with your preparations. But this session, before getting on to the core context of what is there in the online assessment, we quickly want you to walk you through in terms of what you can expect. If you get an offer from WIPRO WILP, what is that you can expect? So from a student from mentality, whether you're pursuing your BSc or BCA, right? You will only be having 2 questions, whether to start your higher studies or whether to join a company and start working in a corporate environment, right? So this is basically 2 questions that each of you might have. But on the contrary, if in case you decide to go for your higher studies, there is a but question. If in case you go for higher studies, what is the assurance that you will be placed in a good corporate firm, right? If you're going to spend a huge amount of money completing your higher studies, what is the assurance that you will be getting placed in a good organization like WIPRO? So on the contrary, let's move forward. If in case you decide to pursue a job in a reputed firm, so what will happen from a long-term standpoint, right? You've just completed your BSc or BCA, and you join a firm probably that is giving you 20-25,000 per month. So will it be suffice? So after looking at your resume, like after 10 years, 15, 20 years back, so XYZ with just a BSc, BCA degree, or you think it will be more value add to have one more PG degree in your resume? So which do you think will be more value add? This is a conscious call, I think, from your standpoint you need to make, because it is not about now. It is about for the next 15-20 years. So the investment that you're doing now in terms of duration, in terms of effort, in terms of time that you spend, it is not about now. It is not about this 20-25,000 that you're going to get by joining a job immediately. So we would urge to think from a perspective of how you would want your life to look like in next 10-15 years, or rather 20 years down the lane. So do you want to still be with a BSc, BCA degree, or you would want to complete an MTech from a reputed premier institute in India? So that is a call that you need to consciously take, right? So talk to mentors, talk to people who are already in WLP. I'm sure you will definitely have your colleagues or acquaintances who are already part of the WIPRO WLP program. Talk to them, understand if it is really adding value to them. So if they say yes, why not give it a try, right? So we are glad that you've taken the first step. But what will you do if in case you're taking up offer from WIPRO WLP program, and what will you do is what you see on the slide. You start working. So it is a 5-day work model. That is precisely the beauty of this model, because you don't have to let go of anything. You don't have to let go of your work. You don't have to let go of your higher studies. So this WIPRO WLP model clubs both. So we do give you a benefit of doing an MTech from BITS Pilani, and parallelly you also get a work experience of 4 to 5 years by the time you complete this program. So when you come out of this academy successfully, completing your MTech, by the time you will already have 5 years of industry experience, on the job training in various technologies, right? That is something which you will have. Alongside, you will have a graduation of MTech from BITS Pilani, right? So think from that perspective. After 5 years, you're going to enjoy the benefits of both. So that is precisely why we would request you to consider WIPRO WLP as an option for you. So think from a long-term career standpoint, which is going to add more value to you, right? That is something which you need to talk to your mentors, talk to people around you for you to make a conscious decision, right? So this is giving you a dual advantage. So it is a double advantage of higher studies plus having a industry exposure. And this program is out and out sponsored by WIPRO. You need not spend anything in terms of your book allowance, in terms of your academic allowance. Everything is taken care by WIPRO. And we provide monetary benefits for you to complete your education, and parallelly we do give you a stipend, which we will look at in the next slide. All right. So yes, from an advantage standpoint, you still get to have a higher education, MTech from a reputed institute like BITS Pilani. You get on-the-job training, and we give you complete career visibility of next 7 to 8 years. So 5 years is already given because you sign a bond with us where you complete 4 years of MTech. And 1 year is a buffer time because we onboard you in different timelines. The academic enrollment with which happens only in the month of April, May, June. But we onboard you in different time frames. We onboard people in October, November, we onboard in September, etc. So to keep that buffer and to give you an advantage of probably complete the course successfully without any stress. So we give you a buffer time of 1 year. So 5 years is something which is already given. So apart from this, the next 3 years is something which will clearly set for you in your project, whichever projects you're going to work for. The next 8 years is completely set. If you are taking up this offer, WIPRO thinks about your career for the next 8 years. You can only learn. You can continuously keep learning. You can continuously improve your skill set. But from your career standpoint, give it to us. We will take care in terms of what roles you need to play, what technologies you need to learn. Be out and out on the process, right? So if you take up this offer for the next 7 to 8 years, you will have complete clarity in terms of what you're going to do. And we do give you monthly stipend for working on the projects. And after successful completion, there are different layers, right? Some might perform extremely well, some might be an average performer, some might not be able to perform very well because of various reasons. They might have some personal problems, etc. So even a low performer in terms of who's not able to perform because of XYZ reason, even then, they will get a minimum committed CTC of 5 lakhs after completing their 5 years of MTech. That is something which is the bare minimum. And this can extend up to 7.5 lakhs. If you're a top performer, you will get a CTC of 7.5 lakhs after completing your 5 years of course. And it is not getting stopped here. We do give a performance bonus in your 6th, 7th and 8th year. Basis your performance, it can spare anywhere between 1 to 1.5 lakh. So that will be merged along with your CTC. So net to net, after 8 years, your CTC, you have a high chances of anywhere between 10 to 11 lakhs after 8 years of your tenure with WIPRO. So this is a clarity that you have in your career, that you have in terms of your compensation. So now let's deep dive and see what is that you get as a monthly stipend. Can we move to the next slide, Vanshika? Alright, so The first month stipend, this is the yearly stipend that you see for the next 4 years after you join WIPRO. First year is stipend is 15,488, which is inclusive of your ESI. Second year is 17,553. Third year is 19,618, and fourth year is 23,000. And apart from this stipend, you also have a group personal accident cover of 12 lakhs per annum and a group life insurance of 14 lakhs per annum. And as I told you earlier, this program is out and out sponsored by WIPRO. And once you decide to join WIPRO, and once you have joined, we also give you a joining bonus of 75,000 along with your first month stipend. That is something which you will be getting as a candidate once you join WIPRO. And if in case you're breaking the bond in between, then you're liable to pay back on a pro rata basis. But from a benefit standpoint, this is something you're getting. And from an initial CTC standpoint, after completing 5 years course, the minimum is 5 lakhs and the maximum is 7.5 lakhs. And after 5 years, if you're deciding to continue, the next 3 years, you can anywhere think, if you're a top performer, anywhere between 10 to 11 lakhs will be your CTC. That is where you will land, right? So this is from a benefit standpoint that you're getting. So this is where you need to consciously take a call whether you're going to settle down for 15,500 or you're going to take up something at 20,000. So I'm just assuming, right? So if you're going to take up something at 16,000, but think what is going to be your plus and minuses. That is something you need to sit and think what will be beneficial from a long-term standpoint. If I'm going to look at getting that additional 5,000 per month, is going to be beneficial for me, or getting an MTech from a reputed institute like WIPRO-ACE. So this is a conscious call you need to take, and we highly recommend and urge you talk to somebody who's already in WILP, or you talk to few of your mentors and understand. So because it is only not about next 2 years, it is only not about next 3 years, right? This career decision that you make is for the next 20, 30 years, right? So make a conscious decision. That is all we request from your end. So from a benefit standpoint, if you take WIPRO offer, this is a stipend that you will be getting, and alongside we will also sponsor your MTech education. So all your book allowance, academic education will not come here. So this is something which is exclusively given as stipend. Over and above, WIPRO also spends for your higher education. So this is from a benefit standpoint. And remember, after completion of 5 years, your CTC will be 5 lakhs. That is minimum, and upper slab of 7.5 lakhs. And after this, 6th year, 7th year, 8th year, you will get a performance bonus. It bases your performance. It can be anywhere between 1 to 1.5 lakh, which will again be merged at the end of the year to your CTC, right? So net to net, after 8 years, if you're a hypo, you can expect anywhere between 10 to 11 lakhs. That is where your career progression will be. So from the roles you play, you will be deployed in support assignments, you will be deployed in infrastructure related projects, you will be deployed to voice support, or you will be working in networking. So these are a couple of roles that you will be getting. So as I told you, once you decide to take up an offer, the career decisions that you will make will be very, very simple, because we think through what you will have to do for the next 7 to 8 years. We curate and we suggest to you, and you need not worry about it for the next 7 to 8 years at least. So think about what will be beneficial for you in a long run and take a conscious call which offer you're going to pick, right? So it is too early for you to pick, but I'm being optimistic here. I'm for sure, I hope that you all will put in your best efforts in terms of clearing the assessment, in terms of putting your best efforts in terms of clearing your interviews. So put in your best efforts, and if you're getting an offer from WIPRO, do take a conscious call, talk to your mentors, and think from a long-term standpoint what will be beneficial for you. So this MTech, if you ask me whether it is the same, if your peer is getting an MTech degree from WIPRO-ACE with 2 years, is it same? So from an industry standpoint, there is absolutely no difference between these two certifications. Anybody who's getting an MTech from 2 years, anybody who's getting MTech from WIPRO WLP program, it is the same certificate that is issued to both of you, right? So there is absolutely no difference. So think from this perspective, think from a long-term career standpoint, and I hope you all will make a conscious call in terms of putting in your efforts in making the right career decision, right? So on that note, that's all I had from my end in terms of giving you a brief about what WIPRO WLP program is all about, because this program is not something that started a year back or 2 years back. We started this program in 1995, right? And since then we have had about 40,000 scholars who successfully passed out from this program. So this is a tried and tested model which WIPRO has pioneered it, right? And there are few firms which are doing it, but I think Wipro started it much earlier. So 1995 it began, and since then on there are 40,000 candidates, and you have opportunity to speak to anybody out of this 40,000. I think they will be the best anchors for talking about the advantage that you have in this program. So take a conscious call. Talk to people, talk to your mentors, take a conscious decision in terms of which offer you would want to take, and whatever you take, think from a long-term standpoint, right? On that note, all the very best. Similar boot camp will happen once you clear the online assessment. We do have boot camps wherein we will tell you how to ace your assessment, as how to ace your interview process, right? So that will also happen eventually. But this specific boot camp is only about how to take care of your online assessment. What is it in for you in terms of the different sections and other parameters, which Vanshika will walk you through. On that note, all the best to all of you once again. I sincerely expect most of you to clear the online assessment and join in Wipro. So maybe when you're joining, we will meet at different offices of Wipro. So thank you so much once again. And over to you, Vanshika.
Thank you so much, Radhika. Before we move ahead for the preparation of this boot camp session, I just want you to have an overview about the eligibility criteria. So this is the eligibility criteria. I hope you all have completed your 10th and 12th. So you are supposed to complete your 10th and 12th. Just the passing certificate is required. There is no such cutoff limit for your 10th and 12th. A full-time degree of your graduation in BSc or BCA is mandatory. So even if any one of you who has completed the 10th or 12th from open school or distance learning is eligible for this program of WILP. So the link that we have already shared with you for the WILP registration is valid for all the students who are passing out in the year 2022 and the 2023, the upcoming batch. So you all are expected to have a minimum of 60% or 6 CGPA in your graduation. So before we move ahead for the backlog and the stages, as Radhika already mentioned that we have a very short and crisp process for the interview process and the assessment processes in Wipro. The WILP program, once you all have done the registration, the next stage for which you all are eligible is the assessment stage. So we are making you prepare for, by the means of this boot camp session, we will prepare you for the assessment stage, and your assessments are likely to be somewhere around post your Diwali, that is late in the month of October. So your assessments will be in the month of October. The final round for all those who are successfully clearing their assessments will be called up for the final round, which is the interview process. So in the interviews, your interviews will be for around an average of 12 to 15 minutes. It's a panel interview, and we will be conducting your interviews in the month of November. So first 2 to 3 weeks of November will be there for interview process. And by the end of November, if you successfully complete all the 2 stages, that is your assessment and your interviews, we will be handing over your offer letters to you by end of November. So one backlog is allowed till the assessment stage. If any one of you has a pending backlog in any of the semesters till date, one backlog is allowed till your assessment stage. Till assessment meaning by late October. If you have a backlog, one backlog is allowed, but more than one backlog will not be allowed. And you are expected to clear all your pending backlogs before you onboarding with us in Wipro. And if you have any educational gap even after your 10th or 12th before graduation, so maximum of 3 years of educational gap is allowed before you start off with your graduation, your BCA or BSc. But your graduation is expected to be completed within the 3 years of tenure. If you have certain medical reasons, your personal problems, then you should be able to provide a certain proof for the delay of your graduation. But we are considering by means of this WILP program that your entire graduation should be completed within 3 years of your tenure, 3 years from your starting off your graduation. Now, just to make you aware about the processes of interview of the online assessment about the boot camp, just give me a moment. All right. So this is all about preparing you up for the test, which is likely to happen in the late October. Certain systemic requirements, what all you need to do. So we will be sharing an email. There is a guidebook along with a sample question paper, which you will be receiving very shortly. So make sure you are going through all the steps, all the systemic requirements prior to your assessment. So there are certain system requirements and guidelines which is necessary for each one of you to go through before the assessment is scheduled. So you are requested to have a desktop or a laptop handy with all of you before appearing for the online assessment, which I already told you will be taken place in the month of October. So the operating system should be supporting Windows 8 or above Windows 8. The browsers can be, you have to use the assessment the software using the browser of Google Chrome, which is the latest version. Please make sure you are disabling all the antivirus, you are clearing all the cache memory, and you are clearing out all the browsing history. Please ensure the time is set in IST. No other format is allowed. Otherwise, it is not going to support your assessment. Webcam and microphones are mandatory. So there is a link which will be shared to you on the email before you appear for the assessment. So you can click on the same link, and you can check whether your desktop or the laptop is supporting the assessment requirements or not. So there is one tool named as Safe Assessment Browser, SAB tool. So this SAB tool is very much mandatory. It is very much crucial. All those who must have downloaded it earlier, you have to download it again. Please make sure you are downloading the upgraded version. It's the updated form of SAB tool. And everything will be shared to you about this tool or any other systemic requirements in the separate email. So make sure you are updating it beforehand. And there is there are certain steps that you need to take. There is one SAB tool. I already mentioned that you have to install the SAB tool, the updated version of this particular tool. And in that, there are certain system requirements. So in all those system requirements, you will be having that candidate guidebook, which you can refer before your online assessment. There is one FAQ document along with the sample paper. And there is a link, there is a boarding pass which you will receive before your online assessment. Since your assessment will happen in batches, so it's not sure that all of you will receive the same link for boarding pass all in a one go. You will receive it in batches. So please anticipate, don't be in a hurry. We will be sharing entire documents to you in batches over email. It's just you need to you need to check your inboxes, your spam folders, your junk files, and make sure you are checking the boarding pass. So there is a link to download SAB tool from the boarding pass, which will be shared to you on your email. Now, during the day of your assessment, when you will be applying for your online test, there are certain do's and don'ts. I'm very much sure before giving any test or any examination, you would have gone through these basic parameters. But just to make you aware about the guidelines, what all is necessary for you to have, and what you do not have to do on the day of your assessment. So please make sure you are sitting in a very quiet room. There is no such background noise or people who are tweaking in your camera, who are coming and peeping up. Please make sure all such activities will not be entertained. Ensure that you have a good internet connection, be it your Wi-Fi or any mobile hotspot. Just make sure wherever you are sitting, there is a proper provision of light. You are not creating any hindrance to the lighting of the room. Make sure there are no such pictures or paintings or any such objects lying just behind your sitting posture. So make sure the wall behind you is very much clear and clean. There is no such obstruction. Please do not avoid the last minute of rush. make sure you are sitting beforehand, before your assessment, 15 minutes, 20 minutes before your assessment, because please avoid the last minute of rush. Entire duration you have to be seated in front of the webcam. Do not get up from your place, from your chair, and do not come and interrupt in between it, that you are moving out and then you are coming in. Make sure you are seated well for the entire duration of your assessment. So if you are facing any sort of technical issues, we will be attaching the FAQ document, and you can reach out to certain email IDs. There is a tech support @aon.com. There will be certain mail IDs, certain technical links which will be shared to you if you are not able to clear the exam, or there are certain technical issues that you are facing. So feel free to reach out to all those email IDs which are mentioned there. Also, do not involve in any malpractices. We have very commonly seen your seniors who were involved in such malpractices by using their headphones or their headsets or earphones. Please do not use your Bluetooth headsets, your earphones. You will be refrained from do not use all these malpractices, because any sort of misconduct will really harm your career, because you won't be able to pass on the assessment. So make sure you are not involved in any sort of malpractices. You are not using your mobile phones during the assessment, and you are visibly active on the cameras. So mobile phones, this online assessment is not mobile friendly. So please make sure you are giving the entire assessment only using a desktop or a laptop. Mobile phones will not be supported. So do not use mobile phones. No sort of cheating is entertained by using Google from the phone or Bluetooth earphones. So please make sure you are avoiding such activities. So this is the very basic posture about the sitting, all the postures. Do not sit in a dull room, and do not look both the ways, sideways. Do not leave your seat during the examination. Do not look for answers. Make sure nobody is peeping in the camera. You can use the non-scientific calculators, a normal calculator, a pen and pencil, or even the rough sheets if you require for basic mathematics, math problems and all. Make sure you are not muting yourself. Please be on unmute, and do not use the refresh button or the backspace option, because then your entire assessment will be started from between and you will have certain technical issues. So please make sure you are not using the backspace or the refresh button. Now, how do you actually start your examination? So there's a certain process which you need to follow. I'm sure you would have downloaded the SAB tool before your assessment, before your examination. So you have to download the latest, the upgraded version of SAP tool, and you have to enter the access token. So access token, all the details for your access token, you will get on the boarding pass. The boarding pass which you will receive during your online assessment. So you will receive an email from our end, and there will be certain details related to your access token which you have to fill in here, and then you have to click on start test. So there are certain details it will pop in up. There's a superset ID, a password, and a pass key. So all the details in terms of superset ID, your password, or your pass key, you will get all these details in the boarding pass. So please make sure you are reading the boarding pass very promptly, very clearly, and do not get so impatient that you end up you end up clicking the backspace or the refresh button. Every such minute detail is already there on your boarding pass. Do not toggle between the screens, and do not switch on the windows or exit the screen. There is a certain webcam and audio proctored assessment. There is a pop-up which will come up. You need to just accept it and move ahead. Then, unlike any other examination, unlike any other test, you will be having certain instructions related to the assessments. And then there is a system check. So in the system check, make sure you are getting the maximum number of green flags. There is no such red tick which is coming up. And once you get this green final check of system check, which means you are good to go for your assessment. Then the next thing will come up is your video. Your face should be clearly visible. Your examination, the entire assessment will not start if your face is not visible. So please do not wear a face mask or any such mask. Make sure your face is very much visible so that you can start your test. It will keep on prompting. Click again or proceed. Click on the picture. So it will click. It will give you the prompt and it will move ahead only once your picture is clearly verified. Click on proceed once you are done with your image. Then your test, your assessment will commence. So as you can see, you will have 3 sections over here: English, analytical reasoning, and quantitative aptitude. So for each section, there will be 20 minutes, 20 questions in each section. And each question is for 1 mark, which means 20 questions for 20 minutes. So the 3 sections of English, analytical reasoning, and quantitative aptitude is one such part. So you will have certain questions. And once you are, so you can also review the actions. You can go back to the previous screen also if you want to, just to check and verify your answers. It will give you all such details as to how many questions you have attempted, how many you have not attempted. So there is no such negative marking. So make sure you are attempting each and every question. Then once you are done with all the 3 sections, you can either go back to the assessment or you can submit the first part. So the first part will have 3 sections of English, analytical and quantitative. Again, I'm reiterating, it is for 20 minutes each section, which means entire section is for 60 minutes. That is 1 hour. Once you are done with this section, you are prompted with part B. The part B shows the written English test. So it can either give you a question in terms of article writing, essay writing, any such question, just to give you, you have to write on a particular topic. It's just a written communication, a written vocabulary test. So again, the same part will be for 20 minutes. In all, the entire assessment is for 80 minutes, 20 minutes for each section. Now you can submit it. If you want to go to the previous screen, you can go to the previous screen, or you can go to the next section also. Now, once you are completed, you are done with your online assessment, you will be prompted whether you are shortlisted or you are not shortlisted. So the entire duration for the test is 80 minutes. Post your 80 minutes, once you click on submit option, you will be prompted with your selection status, your shortlisting status in the assessment. It will give you all the detailed information as to how much time you took for appearing in the assessment, what is the date, what is the time, and your ID. So this will give you a snapshot. Now moving ahead, as I was talking about the very crucial aspect of your boarding pass. So this is how your boarding pass will actually look like. So your boarding pass will give you all the elaborated details, your test timing, what is the date, what is the time when your assessment is scheduled. Then you will have an SAB tool link to download this software, the SAB tool. You can download the tool from the same link which is provided. There is an access token. I hope you all have seen the previous pictures, the previous login page where you are prompted with the access token, password, and the pass key. So access token is also mentioned in your boarding pass. Then comes your system guide. So please make sure you are you are making use of your boarding pass before your assessment. So prior to your assessment, 1 day or 2 days prior, make sure you are watching out the system guide videos, just to make you aware about the do's and don'ts, how you have to appear in terms of systemic requirements or technical issues, so that on the main day of your assessment, you are not facing such issues. Then there is an FAQ document. If you face any issues, what are the very common questions that would be coming up in your mind. So there is an FAQ document. Then comes your superset ID and your password. So all the details are very clearly mentioned in your boarding pass in the form of snapshot. And this is the assessment pattern. Just to be precise, I already told you we have 4 sections. English usage, that will comprise of English grammar, your basics and advanced, reading comprehension, verbal ability. So it will have 20 questions for 20 minutes each. Then comes your next section of analytical reasoning. It will include your inductive and deductive reasoning, abstract reasoning, flowchart and visual reasoning, logical, critical, and all the quantitative reasoning. Then comes your quantitative aptitude. So this will include your maths, algebra, geometry, mensuration, basic arithmetic problems will be there. Your data interpretation using all the bar graphs, pie charts. So these are the 3 major sections which will comprise of 60 minutes. Then the second section is of written communication test, wherein you have to write down an article or essay, whatever is required, for 700 words, maximum of 700 words, comprising of 20 minutes. So in all, the entire assessment will be for 80 minutes. And this is how, once you complete the assessment, you will be prompted whether you are shortlisted for the assessment or you are not shortlisted. So this is the entire format of your assessment. Now, if you have any queries, we are opening the floor for your question and answers, and we'll try to take up as many questions we can. So till the time we are walking you through the question and answer segment, I am just sharing one link for you to provide a feedback for the session, so that you can keep writing your questions. Along with that, you can post your feedback also. Just give me a moment. And all those who are not able to use the link to provide their feedback, I am publishing one QR code. You can scan the QR code and you can please input your feedback, and then we are taking up your queries. So I request Naveen, Harsh and Basil to keep answering the questions, or you can please take up the queries if you want to. So we have many questions for regular MTech. So this is basically a regular MTech degree. Even if you talk to a person who is doing MTech from BITS Pilani, and if I make you stand along with the same person, BITS Pilani's degree of MTech will be same for both of you. So MTech is a regular course with no such distance, and this MTech is valid even in India, even in abroad, and even if you switch to any other organization. So we will be providing you the link to apply for the assessment before your assessment. We will try to provide you the link 3 to 4 days prior to your assessment. Test will be very much easy. It depends upon your caliber, how much you are putting in your efforts. So location preferences, we try to accommodate you as per the location preferences which you have provided with us. But then ultimately all the location depends upon the company requirements and the project requirements. Everything will be online, be it your online assessment or your interviews. So just one more matter of fact to highlight you. The assessments which you will be appearing, please do not come up just with the motive of passing the assessment. Make sure you are passing it out with good numbers, because your scores will define the domain for your MTech. So you need to give the assessment in such a way that you are scoring maximum numbers that you can. Dates for online assessment are yet not finalized, but we will be sharing you, we will have your online assessment scheduled somewhere in the last week of October. So you can enjoy your Diwali and then you can come up for the online assessment. Naveen, there is a question if BSc in chemistry is eligible for this WILP program.
Vanshika, yes, all the students or from chemistry background are eligible provided they studied maths as a core subject as well.
All right. So all those who are planning to leave the service agreement within 2 years or within 1 year of your MTech, so you have to pay 75,000 on a pro rata basis, which means if you decide to leave the organization after first year, you have to you have to give that amount. Otherwise, by the end of second year, the amount further gets reduced. By the end of third year, it further gets reduced. And by the end of fourth year, if you are planning to leave, I would personally suggest you to stay in the organization, because by then, staying for few months will give you an MTech degree in your hand. So your online assessments and interviews will be on the virtual mode, but you have to be open to relocate on a pan-India basis once we onboard you. Because since, as I already mentioned, that we onboard you on the basis of project requirements, on the basis of company requirements, so you have to be open to relocate on a pan-India basis. That means you have to work from offices. Timelines, I have already made it very clear. October end of October, you will have your assessments. November 1st, 2 to 3 weeks for your final round of interviews, and by the end of November, you will have your offer letters. And this program is eligible only for BSc and BCA. So even if you have any of your friends who want to join the MTech program of Wipro, you can pass on the same link, the same registration link to your friends as well. There is no such negative marking for your assessments. So many of the students have this issue that you have not received the mail for this boot camp session. So if your friends have not received such mails, but they have also registered, so please communicate that we will have the similar boot camp session conducted somewhere next week, so they can join on that date. So there is no such hard and fast rule. We will be calling each one of you. So there is a question, can a mediocre student be able to handle 5 days of working and 2 days of study? So just to reiterate, Mondays to Fridays, like all of us, like we are the employees of Wipro, you will also be the employees and you will be working under certain life projects and you will be gaining the industry exposure. Weekends, that is Saturday and Sunday, any one day you will have your classes. So one day you will have time to relax and chill. So your MTech classes will only be held for once in a week. Boarding passes or the pass key token, everything will be shared to you before your assessment. So we will try to share that before 3 to 4 days of your assessments. MTech is a regular degree, it's not a distance. If you want to go for MCA, this is not the program, because this is a very unique program which none other competitors or any other organization has come up with. So all of you who are coming from BCA and BSc, it is a very unique combination of providing you with the MTech in terms of higher education, and that too we are not charging any fees from your end. Rather, we are sponsoring your entire MTech from BITS Pilani. And the amount of work which you will do from Monday to Friday under certain projects, you will be gaining your industry exposure. So we are actually paying you on a monthly basis in the form of stipend. Naveen, can you see any other questions?
most of them are repeated questions, Vanshika. They're asking about what happens on the assessment. It means they're asking about interviews.
Interview process, yes. So once your assessment, we will have your interviews. There is no such negative marking. So just aim for scoring high marks in the assessment, because your domain, your preferable streams will be aligned to you. So parallelly, we are taking up your queries. I hope you are filling up the QR code. You are scanning the QR code and filling up the survey that we have rolled out. Sample paper we will share. So we will be sharing you a boarding pass, a sample paper, a candidate guidebook, so that you all can study thoroughly and you can appear for your online assessment. So WIPRO is only sponsoring your MTech degree by means of this WILP program. Interview is yes, based on a video call conversation. I cannot see any new questions coming up. There is no such cutoff or negative marking. No such technical rounds, as Radhika already mentioned while we started with this session. So there will be no such technical rounds. There will be no technical questions. It's just the verbal, analytical, quantitative, and a written communication test, which is required for you to give the online assessments. MTech will be done from BITS Pilani. So the professors from BITS Pilani will actually come to teach you and give you lectures. If you don't have your laptops or desktop, you can give it from your college labs also. But then you have to check for the system requirements, which I already mentioned. Educational gap is allowed for maximum of 3 years, but before your graduation. Your graduation is expected to be completed within the 3 years. Time limit for each section is 20 minutes. So whether it is verbal section, you have 20 minutes. Whether it is a written communication test, then also it's 20 minutes. You can use rough sheets for your maths or fundamentals in terms of calculations if you require. I think we are done with all the queries. I cannot see any new questions coming up. Harsh, Basil, Naveen, any other questions? Superset IDs, you will have it while you have registered. So while registering on the WILP registration link, there is a superset ID which was created. Please refer to the same superset ID. In your certificate, you will get a regular MTech degree from BITS Pilani. You all will be the regular employees, and during your MTech, your designation would be scholar trainee. And post completion of your MTech program, we will directly give you a hike, and we will hire you on band B2. So we have the band starting from A1, A2, A3, B1, B2. So you could imagine that directly from scholar trainee, because now you have completed MTech, we will be giving you the band B2, and your designation would be senior project engineer. So I think we cannot see any fresh questions coming up. All the repetitive questions we have already answered. So by the means of all this, it's a last minute for you to scan the QR code and please punch in your feedbacks so that we can improvise even on our sessions from going forward. Naveen, if anything you would like to add on?
Vanshika, there are a few questions on the difficulty
Yes.
level of the assessment. Would you like to highlight a few more things on that?
You can take it up.
So we have designed this assessment keeping in mind that someone from BSc and BCA background student should be able to clear it. Since our only intention is to hire you guys, not to reject. Do not worry if you can solve 2-3 question papers by downloading or from the Google, or once you receive model papers from us, if you can solve 2-3 papers, it will be definitely crack your assessment. Do not worry, it is not technical test. It is only assessment which comprises of 4 sections: written, verbal, qualitative and analytics. There are some questions on service agreement. Why service agreement? Would you like to take up?
If you want, you can please.
The service agreement is to ensure that you are with us safely for next 5 years. We are thereby assuring your career for next 5 years, and we are assuring your next 3 years of growth by giving it joining bonus also. So the service agreement is good. We are ensure that you are safe with us for next 8 years. It's not that you cannot quit us in between. Yes, it's like a breach of service agreement wherein you are expected to pay back the service agreement amount.
And we actually want you, we want the fresh talent like all of you. That is the reason it's the benefit of both. For you staying in the organization, and then we can work together collectively.
I don't
I
have
mean,
access
anything else? Yes.
I'm not finding access to Q&A questions.
Let me see.
There are a few questions on the location being allotted to them once they are selected. Even before we assign you to the project in that particular location, we will initiate a survey to understand your preferred location. We will try to collect preferred 1, 2, 3 locations from you guys. And WIPRO, if we are successful by giving 95% of the students in the first preferred location. Remaining 5%, we request you guys to be flexible because this is purely based on the business requirement. Looks like we answered all the questions. Hope the
Yes.
session was informative.
Yes, I think we have touch based upon all the minor aspects of the candidates, and we are looking forward for you to pass out the assessment with flying colors. All the very, very best to all of you, and I hope you all clear the assessments and then clear your interview rounds, and we are also eagerly waiting for you to onboard with us. Thank you so much for joining in this session. Thank you, Naveen, Harsh, and Basil. Thank you all.
Thank you all. We wish you
Thank
good
you,
luck for
thank you.
everything. Happy to see you soon at
Thank
WIPRO.
you all.
Thank you. Who are successful